Hello, Rockill here, welcome back to another video of Heroes and Generals. We're today back on some actually hard-on information that we're gonna go for this third part of the tutorial. So first of all, free friends. Damn, my tutorials must be popular. Then I check them. They're not doing that great, but it's fine. I did it because I wanted to make it, not because I have to make it. And so I'm doing some more. So this is the third part of this, you can call it series or whatever, the tutorial to be more exact. And today we're gonna go straight to tankers. If you're wondering why tankers, because tankers are basically the first thing you're gonna unlock when you do get to level 5 in this level. I don't know what level this is, I don't know how fast you get to this level, but level 5 is the tanker. You start with an infantry and go straight to the tanker, and I'm gonna go on this pattern just so if anybody is playing, I can talk about it. So tankers are very complex. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show you in game. The best thing I can recommend you to, if you're gonna play a tanker, they're super fun, but right now meta is really bad for them. So if you wanna buy a tanker, you will have to scroll all the way down right here and go to this one. These are tankers. You will start with the beginner tank. This tank is not that great at killing tanks, it's just against infantry good. Or it can be good at killing tanks, but only light tanks, point blank range, upgraded rounds, but you don't need that at all. Maybe explosive rounds, yes, that's pretty decent to use, but usually you won't need it. So I just did it for fun because I wanted to unlock most of the stuff on this type of tank. So where was I? So you're gonna start with a tanker. Every single tanker of either faction are different. They're not the same. So be aware what faction you're gonna choose because they're all different. So let's go by categories. Let's start with US tankers. So I have all of the tanker. I have 3 tankers. All 3 tankers have all of the tanks. So I can choose whatever tank I want in any battle if they have that tank to choose. So that's really neat of my thingy. So this is my light tanker. So how do I start this? So light tanks. Actually the first thing you probably should do before you get into a match when you have your first tanker that actually kills tanks is look up weak spots for the tanks. I don't know if they're still outdated because some tanks don't have drawn out the weak spots. So let me show you. And this is the site I'm gonna be using on. I found it randomly. I just typed here's some general weak spots on the tanks and stuff like that, and this is what it showed. This is an old post, as you can see. It's from 2009. I actually already checked it, but I forgot to show you my actual screen, so you didn't see nothing. So it's not the heavy tanks are gonna be missing. No, the heavy tank destroyers are gonna be missing, but the rest tanks are here. So this is the first thing I would probably recommend to doing this. I mostly forgot all of the weak spots. I just memorized back, weak spot, front, not that great, but sometimes good at which location. I just worry more about the bounce than the what is weak armor and what isn't, and what side I can actually shoot before they spot me. That's the mostly thing I look for before I start any battle. So yeah. It's actually outdated, sadly. I really wish if there's any updated ones, please tell me in the comments, because probably if people are gonna be looking for it, it would be great if someone put it in the description, in the chat, in the comments, more likely. Updated version. I'm probably gonna put this one, but who knows if I will remember. So this is I'm not gonna tell you what tank is what faction, and just look at the badges. If it's a red star, Soviet, if it's a cross like this, white and black, it's Germany, and if it's a white star, that means it's US. So these are the weak spots. These are light tanks. You can see light tanks. Weak spots. Red is really strongly armored. Green is light armored. Orange is medium armored, and this one is trainee, well, really protected. It's really nicely protected. From the back, I don't really know because it doesn't show the back, but you can see here what is what. These people that are checking how much damage for each tank does. I don't think anyone wants to do this anymore because it's really hard. And yeah, Let's just continue. These are the light tanks. Very neat. You can see which ones are good. Don't look at which one has better protection, because they all have their own ways and they're different tiers as well. So be prepared. I'm gonna tell you more about the tanks in game, what I know of, but I'm gonna go slowly scrolling down so you can see every tank. Now these are medium armored tanks. So yeah, just so you know. Very neat. I really wish they would update something like this. I think there's another side, but I think they use the same pictures. So yeah, if I wanted to update this thing, it would take forever, and I would need a lot of friends to help me with, because that would be really neat if we updated this type of thing. So let's just see. I don't know what this meme is. With this, all by its crew is the first. I don't know why they put that there, but okay. Let's continue. This is tank destroyers, and then heavy tanks. There are only 2 tank destroyers. No, there's also tank destroyers. Medium tank destroyers. I guess they're medium tank destroyers. I thought they were just tank destroyers. My bad. And these are heavy tanks. Only 3, 4. Wait, what? This is the German. Yes. Heavy destroyer. There's 2 usually each faction. So yeah, this is every heavy tank destroyer. As you can see, pretty neat if you do say so myself. So that's all of the tanks that showcase. There's no heavy tank destroyers sadly, but usually mostly back, weak spot, front, very armored, side decently armored. You just figure it out on your own, and you can point click on every tank what is what. So yeah, as you can see, the German Tiger King or Tiger 2 is really heavily armored. As you can see, really well protected. Only here that he needs to be like this sideways, so you can even shoot that spot. Or the hatch here is very weak, and the back from above as well, really well protected for the engine. But you can still kill it very easily. I don't know from the back, it doesn't show, but yeah, that's that. So I'm gonna join back into a game, and now we're gonna talk more about the tiers and stuff like that. And if you want to know even more, I can even show you a site you should probably check for your own aggression. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, and I'm in the wiki. So this is here in Genocide Wiki. Check this out, it's gonna be very important. It's gonna tell you a lot of information about the tanks. So I'm just gonna tell you to check it out. It's gonna be mostly like so. So this is Germany, and then Soviet, and then US faction. I believe it's like that, or Soviet is the last one. You'll have to scroll because it shows every vehicle, and also a lot of information. Let's go this tank right here. You just click on it, or the name. No, actually not the picture, because you're just gonna show you a close-up of the tank. The name of the tank is gonna open this information list, and you're gonna see the tank, light tank, German team, and you're gonna see a lot of information for this specific tank. Like the most thing I look for, you can go really detailed to check to see which tank is really the best. What is this? I don't know what that is. Ammo count. Okay. Oh yeah, if we have 3 types of ammo, it's gonna split it like this. Okay, so the mostly thing I check is basically, it's gonna be maintenance load. It's this is very important. How much it costs. You can check like reverse speed and whatever, mid of road speed, blah blah, max speed and stuff like that. Passenger 6, that's really not important. Really, it has 6 passengers. Oh yeah, that doesn't really matter that much. But mostly I look at the cost, the spawn cost. This is the most important thing I check on everything, because this is gonna tell you a lot of information. So this is the light tank, the secondary light tank to be more specific for Germany. But let's go check on my favorite tank that I like to use. So that was like 200 and something. My favorite tank is the tank. The first tank destroyers are my favorite tanks because they're super duper cheap, and the spawn time is well 1 second, it seems. And also look at that, only 150, super duper cheap. That's usually the tank that I use the most. It's the first tank destroyers because they're the cheapest tanks in the game and they're super decent at the damage. If you want to check, it also shows you the damage of every single round and stuff like that. These are the rounds. You just need to memorize all the rounds. So really decent tank, I would say. Use it as you wish, but yeah. It also shows you the meter, how much damage, penetration, everything you need to know for each round. It's super nice and clear. The only thing is you need to check it. So the next thing that I will show you is the first tank destroyers, because usually the first tank destroyers are like the cheapest, like heavy tanks. You can see only 300 credits for the first tank destroyer. No, not the first tank destroyer, the first heavy tank. Damn, I cannot speak properly. That's mostly, but every tank has a different thing. Let's go to US. Let's see if they're actually different. So where is the first tank destroyer? Heavy tank, I mean. This is medium tank, heavy tank. This is the first heavy tank on US. And let's see. You can see very cheap, very cheap. If you think, oh, but then it's not that much. Oh, it is. So if I go the last tank, let's say, the last heavy tank, that should be this one. You're gonna see the big difference. Look at this, that's 1,000. And that goes like this, especially tanks against tanks. That's a game mode, which only fight against tanks. And this number can go up really fast. So yeah, that's all the information you basically need to know to check if you want to go for every faction, everything. And now let's just jump right into the game. So I'm not gonna be able to show you everything into the in-game stuff, but I'm gonna show you the most information. So tankers, if you want to play tankers, just remember not all tanks are really good or very useful. So I'm gonna go for every faction, explaining most of the things I know about the tankers. I played a lot of it. I have 3 tankers with all of different tanks, but I'm gonna show you from 1 tanker each. So yeah, this is my light tanker, it doesn't matter. So the first thing you will need to know before they updated, so you cannot use Iron Fist on tanks. That only works on RPG, guys. So if you want to know what Iron Fist is, it was a thing that you could unlock in a very sneaky way. It's basically this. You basically need to drive around a friend, and if you max it out, you get Golden Iron Fist. And this increases damage against tanks when using an anti-tank weapon. Before it was increased damage against tanks. It was really, really dangerous, this damage upgrade, because like 25% more damage. People use this constantly. And the only thing you need to do is waste some of your time going, let's say, probably not a ranked game, but you can probably go in a war, spawn a light tank, find a war with a light tank, have a friend with you, spawn it, get out of it, get in a civilian vehicle, and just drive him in circles with a XP boost and veteran membership, and you do it like this in a couple of games, very easily like this. And that's was really strong, because then they could use this badge that was not meant for them on the tank, but now it doesn't work, so don't use it. It does not work. Now probably the most used badge you're gonna probably start with would be, if you go to cars here, is Mechanic. Mechanic is super nice. You can fix your tank faster when you finish the battle, but now these days I don't really want to use it. I really like to use the Gunner badge that you get by using the tanks. To get this badge is basically what it says here, just fight against tanks to get this ribbon thingy. So it looks like it also shows a gun. Just use this badge. It's gonna make it so you reload faster in your tank, and some tanks shoot very slowly, and if you get this gold, it's really neat. I have on my heavy tankers that have heavy tanks and tank destroyers, I have this badge on them, gold, and it's pretty nice, because the higher tier, the slower it shoots and stuff like that sometimes. So just be aware, because that's a real problem if you can shoot very slowly. reload very slowly. So this is mostly what people are gonna use. This and the fixing thing. Usually it was that Iron Fist, but that is dead at the moment. Completely cannot use it. It's pointless. So yeah, rest in peace for everybody who farmed for that. So now that we got that out of the way of the badges, let's just begin by talking about the light tanks. There are multiple types of tanks. There's light tanks that are these, medium tanks that are these, heavy tanks that are these, tank destroyers that are these, and the heavy tank destroyers that are these. So US has a specific weird thingy. They have less light tanks. You only have 3 light tanks. I thought this is a medium tank, as you can see the different icon, but they have an extra tank destroyer. So that's it. If you want to see what tank is the strongest, just go from that. You can see all the DPS, all the fight, everything. But I will tell you, the thing for US will be, do not use the last tank, heavy tank. It's the last tank, as you can see, the last one you can unlock. Usually it's the strongest one, but this one is like probably the worst out of all of them. Now it's kind of decent, so you can use it. It depends on you, but usually for me I would use the other light tank that you unlock it way sooner. I think it's, where is it, at gold one, this one, because it's cheaper. That means you can spawn a lot, while the other one not that much, and it's basically the same thing, if not even better, because all the other last heavy tanks are superior in every way. But before, with the Iron Fist, Germany was super duper superior, because they would do the same damage as a normal tank, but I'm gonna go more in detail when we get to Germany. So also check how much XP you need to unlock anything you want. As you can see, the first tank is gonna be this one that you unlock, and then is the medium tank. As you can see, they skipped a lot levels here because they don't have the 4th light tank. So yeah, as you can see, there are 2 tanks here. That's the two tank destroyers. So yeah, and then the last tank is this. So these are the tanks, in what row you're gonna unlock them. And the more levels you get, the more XP you're gonna need. Sometimes it lowers. It depends. Just check every time you level up that badge. So yeah, let's begin by, you're gonna use first light tanks. This tank, you're gonna start with the light tank. Every tank is different, so you're just gonna have to kill infantry, and then you're gonna log to the next tank. You can shoot armored vehicles. It's gonna do some damage, but remember, armored vehicles are only tanks, not vehicles that have armor. Just making you aware. So you're mostly gonna focus on tanks. And for the love of God, if you see a tank, go a tank. If you don't have tanks, you can RPG them, because that means you don't have any other choice. But please don't go Rambo even though you have tanks, because god damn it, it's super annoying against tanks, and you're gonna feel the same way when you play a lot of tanking. So let's just go through some things. So I told you everything you need to know about the US tanks, the few different tanks, but mostly you're gonna use a single shot tank. This one is more used than any light tank, because this tank is decent in every way, and also the last light tank is super duper expensive for a light tank. It's the only tank that's super duper expensive and different, but it's decent, I guess. But when I played that, I didn't see the difference. I think this one is still better. It's cheaper and everything, and it's decent either way. So yeah, probably you're gonna first unlock this one, and then you don't have to worry about this tank at all, because it's just very expensive for no reason, and it's basically the same thing, but maybe different armor. Check it if you wanna. So yeah. So next up, it will be medium armored. It will be this one, and this one. I like this one for a different reason, because if you have friends, 3 people can be in this tank and use it at the same time. That's why I like the Lee super much, but it's not the greatest tank, but it is if you want to have fun. So the next one is this medium tank, and then this one medium tank. Usually the last medium tank is the most used because it's supposed to have the most damage and the best armor and stuff like that. So do as you wish. People say buy the last medium tank because it's super decent, super good. But I see the cost and it's super expensive, and that's why I don't use that specific medium tank. Usually people also like the second medium tank because they say sometimes it's better than the last one or whatnot, or better armored. You do you, as you please. So then heavy tanks. I love the first heavy tank because it's super cheap and super heavily armored, and you're gonna see the difference between medium or light against the heavy tank. Sheesh, so much armor. So don't get the last one, probably because it's the weakest of the heavy tanks. So you're probably gonna use the heavy tank destroyers instead of these guy. But who knows? So the next one are my favorites, and that's the tank destroyers, or as it says, medium tank destroyers in the side. So they have decent armor, but they are very weak overall, but they have great damage. So this one is very special because it can do a 360 turn with its cannon, the first tank destroyer, and it's with the other ones you can't. So, and then there's even better one that you need to be skilled to use properly, and that's the Hellcat. It's the fastest tank in the game, and you can basically one-on-one any tank if you sneak behind them, because basically the tank turns very slowly. So if you come with the Hellcat, you can just drive around it and shoot it, while he's gonna be really hard to hit you because you're gonna be out of his vision because of your speed, and his turning speed, their turning speed is not that great. So you're gonna basically win most of the battle if it's a 1v1. But beware, it's very light tank, it's not the greatest, but you can do quite a bit with it. So it's US favorite tank to use, but it's also quite expensive, but it's good to use overall. Then tank destroyers. I don't know about this tank destroyer, the first one. I just know that the frontal armor should be really good, but their back armor should be weak. So you're gonna mostly use this one, the newest one, because I think it has the most damage, and I don't know about the armor, because there was nothing about the armor. So usually people use this tank in US for the heavy tank, but I like to use the first heavy tank. It's just nicer. But if you want pure DPS, I think this one is gonna do the most that I know of. So now let's jump right into the German team. This is the team that usually all of the people go. This is my heavy tanker, as you can see. I stopped playing quite a while. I have some skins that I got for free from the battle pass. Let's begin from the light tanks. You're gonna start with this tank, very cheap, very easy to use. You're gonna kill some infantry and basically unlock the next tank. The German tanks, light tanks, are the weakest ones, I would say, because they're the most different of any light tank or any tank at all. They have a different way of shooting. It's really rapid and does a lot less damage, and if you cannot hit close range them, you're not gonna penetrate them that much. So beware close range tanks. It's gonna be this one and the last one, and usually people don't play light tanks on the German side at all, but sometimes they do. They're pretty decent against light tanks, but in any other location they're not that great. So the first one would be this one that you unlock. I don't recommend it to use it that much because it's not that great, but it is decent. It does its job. I think it shoots slower than the last one, but it's pretty good. And then this one you're probably gonna get and use the most, because this one is a single shot, and that means you can do long range shots very nicely. They're not precise, just beware, but they're pretty good. So then there's the last one that you can unlock if you want. It's a big upgrade to this one. It's a lot more expensive, but it does really good at the end, so use it as you wish. It does a lot more damage, I believe, and also it has faster rapid speed. Anything else, any more specifics, I don't know, check it out on the wiki. So the next one are medium armor tanks. So as you can see, I have one medium armor tank, and that's this one. This one is the most popular that people use. The greatest weak spot is its ammunition here, and literally at the middle on the side. That's the only big weak spot. So then this one is pretty decent. I don't have nothing to say about it. And then this one, it should be having like plated armor. It's supposed to be really good, and most people use this one over this one, but people really like to use this one. But I don't really like using this medium tank because it's very expensive, so I would rather use this one. So next up are the heavy tanks, that are these tanks, this one and this one. This one is very special, and that's why Germany really has the upper edge. It's good armored and it has a double scope. So when you get to a heavy tank, no, when you get to the last heavy tank, I think you have a double scope on every single tank except Soviet, but we're gonna get into that. You can double scope, and heavy tanks you can double scope, so you can have better vision for longer distances. So this is the only first heavy tank that has a double scope. So really good tank and very cheap. And then the people's favorite is the Tiger King or the Tiger 2. Has the strongest armor, was basically the strongest tank if you used Iron Fist, Golden Iron Fist, but now that's it removed, and now it's nice and balanced, because before this tank has less damage than every single heavy tank or tank destroyer, a lot less damage, but it has really good armor, and with the increase of Iron Fist was super strong, but now that doesn't work, so it's balanced again somewhat. So that's the heavy tanks. So now tank destroyers, as you know, the first, my favorite, because it's super duper cheap, super duper nicely armored, and basically really strong overall. So the only bad thing, it cannot turn 360 like on US, but it's still good overall. Then the next one would be the second one. This one I don't really like. It's supposed to be stronger than this one. It also has fire rapid speed. I think this one has really slow shooting speed, reload speed basically, and this one has quite a bit more. So it's a little faster to shoot, does more damage I guess, but I feel like it's weaker armored than this one. But I think they fixed that. I don't know, check out on the site and see how it looks, and if you want to use it. I usually don't, because it's more expensive than this one quite a bit, but you do you. So the last one, tank destroyers, that's supposed to be this one. I enjoy using it, I guess. It's pretty neat. That's all I have to say. Front armor, very nice, very boxy, the German one, so it's really easy to see where to shoot and what tank is it. So yeah, let's go back to Soviet now. Soviet are a little bit different. Again, this is my heavy tank set. So the first is light tanks. This light tank that you start with, it's really nice because you can swim on water. It's really fun, and you can go over rivers if you want. It's really not the best spot to shoot from, but yeah, you can only kill infantry. So when you do, we're gonna move on to the first light tank. This tank is one of my favorites to use because you can shoot down planes, because it has a really good vertical view, and you can literally shoot down planes if you want. A quick warning, the previous tank, the Lee, the secondary tank on cannon on the top, you can also shoot planes down, and you get free explosive rounds and stuff like that. So for the Germany, I really don't know which tank can shoot planes down very easily. So next up is this one, really good tank, super duper fast, a lot more expensive, but super duper fast. I guess it's the fastest light tank in the game, but it's still slower than the main tank, that Hellcat on US. So next up is this one. This is probably the strongest light tank in the game. It's cheaper than the US one, sheesh, by a lot, and you can basically two-shot almost every tank without upgrades, without better rounds. So it's super duper good. Before it was really meh, but now it's super duper good. I really recommend it. I leveled it up to penetrating rounds in one game, literally that good it was. So let's move on to the medium armored. As you can see, there are three ones. The first one, please, for the love of God, just skip the first one. It's just good against light tanks and medium tanks on the very weak spots, or you will not penetrate any tank. You can still try to have fun. I guess penetrating ranks does make it a little bit easier to use, but I will tell you, don't use it. It has really bad penetration because of its small cannon. The next one, people really like using this one. People even say that it's better than the last medium armored tank, but do some research by the wiki and find out with yourself. People really like to use this one, I heard, but people still like to use the last medium tank that's right here. because it has the most damage or whatnot. But yeah, let's go to the heavy tanks that are these guys. It's this on the first one. As you know, the first heavy tanks don't have a double aim, and then I really like to use it because it's very cheap. And this one is very specific and special. It has a debuff that it cannot double scope because it has the highest DPS of any tank in the game. So it's super duper good at damage, decently armored as you saw on that side, and it has pretty neat damage and armor. And sadly it's super expensive, but it's really strong tank. People really like to use this tank because it's super duper strong, and with the Iron Fist that once that works, it was even stronger. So this is the only counter against the Tiger King back in the day. But yeah, that's back in the day. Now it's pretty much balanced. So yeah, now let's move on to tank destroyers. I'm gonna apologize, this is super nostalgic for me because I played tanks against tanks. No, not tanks against tanks. Tank Wars or something like that. Tank Wars. I think that's what it calls. Tank. It's basically a tank game, and I really like the sniper tanks. And the way I saw sniper tanks was the one that they had a hole on the top, that in the back, and those are the sniper tanks. And I'm really biased against this, so I enjoy using this tank. It's mostly because it's super cheap, super duper damage decent. It cannot 360 as you know, but at least it can turn a little bit left and right, but that's everything. So then the next one is this one. This one doesn't have anything special. I think it does more damage, but it's more expensive, and maybe it's faster, but that's all I know. Check it in the wiki. Use it if you want. I don't really like using it. I like using this one 10 times because it's super duper cheap. So now the last tier is the heavy tank destroyers. That's this one. Again, I don't know that much information. It's decent, can double scope. Frontal armor should be strong, cannon really long, and yeah, side armor probably decent armored, and the back very light armored, I guess. So that's it. That's every single tank in the game for now. Every new information that I told you, that's all I know. So yeah. Now, if you wanna do a special thingy that you can do as a tanker, if you go to US, the US are very special because they can have an actual rifle, semi-automatic rifle. No other faction has this, and if you want to be a really professional tanker, I would recommend trying to get a US tanker, kill him, like, I don't know, damage the tank and let him come fix the tank, kill him, and he's probably gonna drop this weapon and steal it. Steal it and use it. You can just buy it outright immediately, because if you steal this gun, you will get it on your tanker. And no other faction has this type of tank. People only have like SMGs and pistols, but people usually won't use SMGs, they will use pistols, because SMGs you're gonna have to remove. It only has one clip because it doesn't have that much space, so you can use the wrench. So yeah, because you can already see, I already did it. If I go not here, sorry, if I go here, you can see it already has one clip, only one clip, and this is the normal one, and it puts 1 point. So yeah, you're gonna probably remove the clip so you can have like 30 rounds, 20 rounds, depends what SMG you get. She actually started an SMG, just to make it clear. And yeah, you're gonna have to have a wrench to fix their tanks, and usually people just get a pistol, so you have more rounds. It's a little weaker than an SMG, but it works. But if you're on US, you can lock this weapon. The great thing is you can steal it with other factions and basically have it on other tankers. Now, let me just show you what other tankers have. Other tankers start with the first SMG, as you see, removed 1 round. This only has 20 rounds, and then basically pistols and SMGs if you want to get other better ones for 1 clip. And then US, the same thing, just a pistol. You can see I have a pistol on this guy, and you can see only SMGs, and that's why you can steal that weapon. I recommend it to do that, probably the fastest way is to play tanks against tanks, kill the person. Or a lot of people just go kill bots. So just kill a US player. I guess try to play light tanks. Probably the best way to find them. And just steal the weapon and go kill the bots in the head as much as possible. Yes, you're gonna be a dick doing that, but that's probably the only reason why you should kill bots in the middle point of tanks against tanks. So now game modes. This is the last thing I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna show you in the game. If you wanna see more stuff in the game, I made a lot of videos about every single tank, so check them out. Yeah, some of them are very bad quality and very back behind because there's a lot of tanks and I've played a lot. So check those out if you want. So for tankers, you cannot go a specific type of game, but you can always go assault, capture and hold, and tanks against tanks. So mostly you're gonna play is tanks against tanks. It's really nice because there's no anti-tankers and you only rely on your team and yourself to kill tanks. It's only be your tanks against the enemy tanks, and that's basically it. I mean, it's gonna be one map in particular. I cannot really show you exactly how it looks, but yeah, maybe here's a picture that I got it from the files of the game. So yeah, mostly people you're gonna also play assault tanks. This is the assault tanks, yes, assault. And this is gonna be not that great. It depends on the enemy team and how many anti-tankers there are gonna be, or planes, because they will destroy you. That's why tanks are not used that much. So just play tanks against tanks. There's also capture and hold ground classes. You can play it if you want, but mostly some people usually just play this specific game mode to kill tanks with RPGs, so they can level up their RPGs the fastest way. So be aware that does happen quite a lot. So yeah, that's gonna be all the game modes. I recommend playing tanks against tanks. It's really nice and fun, easy. Assault, if you want to just play, I recommend playing assault if you're playing medium tanks, because the categories for finding matches are usually, if I go back to tankers, are light tanks only, or medium, heavy, tank destroyers and heavy tank destroyers match. Those are two matches you can get. But if you play assault, sometimes you're only gonna get like light tanks and medium tanks, and that game mode is missing on tanks against tanks. So they really need to put that game mode in, because medium tanks are a lot weaker than heavy tanks, and it's just really hard to destroy a heavy tank that people are gonna use like tanks against tanks. Only the highest tank, because that's the best tank to use, and medium tanks are really hard to level up to do anything. So just a warning, play assault if you're using a medium tank, or tanks against tanks. No, not tanks against tanks. Capture and hold, usually that's when people are gonna use medium tanks. So that's all the information I have for today. I'm not gonna show you in-game stuff. If you wanna see in-game stuff, just check every single tank that I made tutorial. You're gonna see the main tank on the picture. Check it out. That's my first reaction, and I think then I also made the upgrade round that one, so you can see the most damage that it can do. So before they changed a lot of things. So check the wiki again if you want. Check the weak things. Please comment down below if you found a better site that shows more weak spots on every single tank. So yeah, thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye.